this common experience. Perhaps you're in a small group setting through your church, or maybe it's a Bible study, and perhaps there's someone in the group who is suffering, and it's a painful experience, and they're sharing the difficulty and the pain and the agony even of loss, or perhaps the frustration that comes with the suffering that they are experiencing. In that moment, it's not uncommon for perhaps another Christian, well-meaning, caring, to say something like, "Don't worry, I know you're suffering, but God is suffering too." That may be a common or a well-intentioned sign of compassion, but it's one that is not actually theologically sound. See, at first it sounds comforting for someone to say, "God suffers with you." At first glance, that seems like that would provide us some type of comfort or reassurance. But actually, when we think about it, it leads us to actually pity God. It raises all kinds of questions. Does this God need saving just as much as I do? Should I feel sorry for this God much as I or others feel sorry for the situation I find myself in? In other words, it throws into question God's entire stability. Well, in the history of the church, many have, in reading the Bible, have come to the conclusion that actually God does not suffer. He is a God, they said, who is impassible. That means he does not experience emotional changes. He's not subject to alteration or loss even. So what at first seems like a comforting thing to say, well, God suffers, actually turns out to be a terrifying thought, that this is a God who might change emotionally. If this is the case, then we might wonder whether this God can be relied upon. Is he someone who one moment is going to fly off the handle, or the next moment go back on his promises? Is he emotionally unstable like we are at times, especially in the midst of pain or difficult circumstances? Is this a God who is righteous or holy in one instance, and the next actually goes back on his own character to commit some type of atrocious sin or evil? Well, many of the fathers took comfort in the fact that, no, God is an impassible God. And this is a corollary from God's immutability, the fact that God does not change. If we think about it, this type of God is not one that we have to pity. It's not one we have to wonder, does he need saving as much as I do? No, in the midst of suffering, this is a God we can actually rely on precisely because he does not suffer.